it comes time to deciding what finish you're going to apply to your mouldings, you need to establish that before you even purchase the mouldings. If you're going to go for a painted look, you've got two choices. You can use the raw pine, which will need to be sanded, then undercoated, and then applied to the top coat. Or you can even go with a pre-primed. The good news there is it's already sanded and it's already primed. All you need to do then is apply the top coat. If you're going to go for the traditional look with solid timber and applying a stain finish, you need to pay particular attention with your preparation. That means sand it properly and thoroughly and remove all the sharp edges and any machine marks. Then you can apply your coat of stain. If you wanted to make it a little bit darker, you can apply 2 coats of stain and then finish it off with a lacquer. Now it's a good idea just to at least apply the first coat of undercoat or the first coat of stain before you install your pieces. It just makes life a lot easier. Then you can install them and then apply the last coat. Now when it comes to sanding, it depends on what finish you're going to apply to your mouldings. If you're going to have a paint finish, then finishing to about 150 to a 180 grit paper would be enough. But when it comes to hardwood and applying a stain and lacquer, you need to go that little bit further. So start with a coarser grit and work your way through and finish at about 220 grit. Now remember, the lower the number, the coarser the grit. So you can start with a 120 and work your way through the grits, then 150, 180 and finish with 220. And just remember, when you're worn out to 120, that doesn't make it a 150. That's a worn out 120. You need to go into the 150 grit. And when it comes time to sanding into these curves here, just take the paper off the cork block and just fold it up and just make the shape of the profile. And just sand with the grain. You always need to sand with the grain. Don't sand across the grain because that'll just scratch the surface. When you polish it, you're going to stand out even more. So just take your time, work with the grain. Once you've done the 120, then switch to the next grade and do the same thing again. Now, when you're completely satisfied with your sanding, you should have absolutely no sign of machine marks, no sharp edges, and it should feel as smooth as you know what. Then you're ready to apply your stain. Now with the stain, you've got a couple of choices. You can brush it on, then wipe it off, or wipe it on, then wipe it off. Make sure you wear some gloves because this is designed to soak in, so it'll soak into your fingers. And simply put it on a rag and just wipe it on. Just make sure you cover the whole area. Now after that has its recommended drying time, if that's not dark enough for you, you can reapply it. But what you'll need to do is sand it in between coats because the idea is, as the stain soaks in, it lifts up the fibres and you need to give it a light sand just with 220 or 280 grit paper. But don't forget your safety gear. You need your gloves, your respirator and work in a well ventilated area.